where he's packing up the condo and heading back to St. Louis. Good morning, Ben Frederickson.
Good morning. How's it going?
We're doing well. What do we know about Adam Wainwright's hamstring? How bad is it?
Well, we know that you probably shouldn't have 30-plus-year-old pitchers competing in sprints as part of conditioning with a few days left in camp. And this conditioning drill the Cardinals were doing with these pitchers has now caused two bad hamstrings. One is Adam Wainwright. The other is Luke Gregerson, who was kind of in the mix to be a closer candidate emerging from camp after he came back from an oblique strain. So Adam they say his hamstring issue is not as severe as Gregerson's. They think he might only miss 1 to 2 starts, but that comes with the asterisk of it's a hamstring injury, and they can be weird depending on who has them and how severe they are and how the recovery goes. So right now, the Cardinals are more than happy to turn things over to Jack Flaherty, who had a very good spring. And the Cardinals said when they sent him out that he was good enough to be in the major league rotation, that he'd be the first man up. They just didn't think it would happen this soon.
Right. How about that Jordan Hicks over the weekend throwing 100 miles an hour?
Oh man, he's nasty, and he just looks better and better the more you see him. He had an interesting camp, McGraw. He showed up. He was supposed to be kind of in the mix as a dark horse candidate for a job in the bullpen, even though he's so young. His stuff is so good. But he had some issues. He showed up late. He had some punctuality problems, and they sent him out as a result of that. It was nothing he did on the mound. It was what he didn't do elsewhere.
Right.
And he responded really well. He got his stuff together. He started, kind of taking more accountability, and the Cardinals brought him back to give him, another shot on the major league mound. And they liked it so much they let him pitch two extra outs in that game, and then brought him back again when Adam Wainwright went down. He's probably going to start at Double-A this year, but his fastball is 100-plus, and it has this natural sink to it that makes major league hitters look pretty bad.
Don't be late.
And the Nationals looked pretty bad against it yesterday. They had some good hitters in that lineup, so it's going to be hard to not see what he can do in the major leagues, especially if the Cardinals have struggles in the back end of their bullpen this season.
Don't be late. That's the message Mike Matheny's sending. Don't be late, right? you can do lots of things.
It's also
don't
the
be
message
late.
of like, hey man, you throw 100, you have a major league arm right now. You got to do the stuff off the field to keep you from screwing up what could be a very successful and very profitable career. So the message was sent, and it seems like it was received. And hopefully, it's the last time the Cardinals have to go that route with him, because he's got an arm that it could show up this season in St. Louis, if not this season, and really soon, because he is. I'm telling you, he's really impressive to watch. The Nationals wanted no piece of that yesterday.
How worried are you that the Cardinals have no closer? And Mike Matheny admitted over the weekend that it's going to be closer by committee.
Well, I'm a little concerned. I did the numbers the other day. Well, just last night for a column I wrote today, and with Gregerson out, and the fans weren't real excited about Luke Gregerson, but he actually pitched decent. He didn't allow a run in his 3 spring appearances. He just didn't have very many appearances because he had the oblique and then the hamstring. But without him, the Cardinals are entering this season with a major league bullpen that has 8 guys in it, none of which have more than 20 saves in their career. Bud Norris had 19 last season, and that was the most out of anybody. So I like the options, and ideally you have a guy who emerges and sticks to that role. The Cardinals have created closers before, but I also think that you have to have the right mindset. You have to have the right guy to be that, to handle that role. And it's a little different. It comes with some biology to it, and you have to want to be the guy with the ball in his hand with the game on the line. Now, the Cardinals might have that in there. They don't know yet, but you also have that unknown of what if no one seizes it, then that could be a bit of a problem. So that's part of what Mike Maddox is going to have to do here, is figure out how they want to do it. It's going to be a lot of matchup based. It'll be depending on the team and on the hitter that they're up against in the ninth. And, they could just kind of rotate guys through it all year. That's what Memphis did last year at AAA, and it actually worked pretty well. So I know fans get a little nervous when they hear that, and I agree with them. but that's the approach as of right now.
So Thursday, the opener against the Mets, the Cardinals are up by a run. It's the bottom of the ninth. In a perfect scenario with this team, who's going to close out the first game of the season?
Dominic Leone, I think, is going to be your first bet, unless you want to go lefty, and then it'll be Tyler Lyons. And Dominic has, I think, one save in his past. But he's been a late inning guy, and he's been the guy Mike Matheny and Mike Maddox have gone to here in these Grapefruit League games. He's pitched the most of the last inning. So, and then Tyler has really kind of increased his chances to be in that mix as well. Another guy that came on really strong this spring, who now is in the bullpen because he basically forced himself in, is Mike Myers. And I know some Cardinals fans who maybe haven't been paying attention to spring training are going, no way, are you kidding me? Because they remember Mike Myers was giving up, monster shots and huge run totals as a starter in the few times that he pitched in the majors. But he switched to reliever this offseason, and he's like a different guy. He is aggressive. He's challenging hitters. His velocity has jumped up, a significant amount. He's going after guys because he says he's not saving anything back as a starter anymore. It's like his mentality got back to what it was when he was pitching very well in the minors. And he's carved out a spot in the bullpen too, so you wonder if he might get a look at it.
I think he should run out from the bullpen with a hockey mask on. Mike Myers from Halloween.
Kind of nightmare was kind of what you thought of when you saw him make his first few major league starts. And it's really a cool story because he looked like this guy. He looked like a guy who wasn't going to make it. And he was just getting drilled every time we saw him in the majors. And he said, look, this isn't me. And everybody kind of said, yeah, okay, man, whatever.
Right.
It's all we've seen.
Right.
And to the Cardinals' credit, they saw something in him and said, what if we move him to the bullpen? And he spent the winter pitching in a foreign league and really found stuff that worked with this new kind of it really is not a new approach. It was getting back to what he did before,
right?
And now he's himself again, and it's impressive.
So much of baseball is mental, and so much of it is right time frame and right framework, and it is the situation you're in, right? If you're a starter and it's not working for you, and the coach is telling you one thing, and it's a little zen. And I could see somebody being a terrible starter and being a great reliever. That happens all the time.
Yeah, guys switch, and one of the things that often happens when that does is their velocity goes up, and they've had that in them the whole time, but it's, for whatever reason, they're more relaxed, so they feel like they don't have to stretch it out as long, and it just kind of unlocks this more aggressive pitcher, and that's what we've seen with Myers. And he has some fortitude. I mean, to go through what he went through, where he just got basically ran out of the ballpark the first few times he faced major league pitching, to come back and have the confidence that he does now. He's got some metal to him, so that makes me wonder if maybe he trends toward that closer role. Mike Matheny explained this one really cool scene that he had with Myers. I guess it was last year during spring, and they were facing the Marlins in the Grapefruit League game, and Marcell Ozuna was at the plate, and Myers threw a pitch inside and almost clipped Marcell, and Marcell kind of gave him a look like, hey, what are you doing?
Right.
And he said he watched Myers on the mound, and he kind of bowed up, he kind of tensed his neck up, and came back the next pitch and struck him out on a pitch that was like 97, which he hadn't thrown all day. And Marcell, of course, probably doesn't remember it, but Myers certainly does. And Matheny asked him, he said, what happened there? And Myers told him, look, I got ticked off. And Mike said, well, you need to pitch ticked off. So now he can do that. He can do that as a reliever. So he's going to be, I think he is a pretty cool story, because so many people just would have folded up into a little ball after they had an embarrassing start like that, but he's kind of remade himself and has a major league spot because of it.
Yeah, that sounds like a great story. I think I'm a new Mike Myers fan. I could be the president of his fan club after that story.
Yeah, get on. The bandwagon is slowly filling up. But there's plenty of room after his first appearances up in the majors. So yeah, you could be the president in no time.
There you go. All right, Ben, what are you doing? Are you coming back to St. Louis? Or are you going to Montreal? What are you doing?
So I am coming back. I head back today. I got one more one more dispatch to write here, and then got to pack up the condo, and then I'll head home, and we'll have coverage of the Cardinals in their exhibition swing in Canada. Derek Gould is up north, and then they open the season in New York. It'll be Carlos Martinez versus Thor, so it should be a good one.
Can't wait. Ben, safe travels, and we'll see you when you get back to St. Louis.
You bet, man.